Hello everyone, Jasmine here from LVL UP Consulting with the People First Projects podcast. I'm getting better. I'm joined on the couch this week by Thomas and Marchik from the LVL UP team, both PMs. And we're here to talk about a topic that we're all pretty passionate about, which is how do you build trust and collaboration in a project team? Because we're all people first, but when you've got a project team that's in sync, man, it's good. It's so good, and it's not always easy to achieve because you've got lots of people who come in and come out in a project. You've got people from different walks of life coming into a project with different skills and different ways of thinking. So it's this utopia state that you don't always reach. But let's talk about it. So how do you get there, or what can you do as a project manager to try and make it happen? Who wants to kick off? Who's got something straight off the bat? No? You both look at each other going this way. Well, I'll start because what I find is really helpful when you have a new team of people coming together is I always like to start with the data. So get really clear, straight up, everyone is on the same page of what is the project, what is the timeline, all that basic stuff, what are the expectations, what is the definition of done, what is the quality that we all need to subscribe to, and to kind of have that as a bit of a project charter, just so that everyone can refer back to it. And then from there, that unlocks what I think is one of the most important things in a project, and that is the roles and responsibilities of every team member, so that you know straight off the bat, or at different phases of the project, who is doing what, who has to collaborate with somebody else, when are you expected to collaborate with somebody else, so that there are no surprises. I've been on many a project where you go, oh, we need that resource and we need them now, and they have to drop everything, and that is kind of anti-trusted collaboration because they're packed. It just doesn't work. So I like to get the data, get everyone on the same page straight away, and if you bring new people in, you just pull out that page again and build it over time. Thomas?
Another thing you do well to start with, and pointed out to me a couple of times, is what are we doing it for? Like, what is the stakeholder want out of this? And then sort of framing it in that way to build trust with them and be giving them what they want, and building that trust that we're kind of on the same page and have really coherent views of where we're going.
I totally forgot about that. That is a game changer. What is the why? And it's, spoiler alert, it's not usually to save money, to hit a deadline. There's a deeper, bigger purpose. And that anchors people. And that's a really people-first approach. If you've got that why, and you can keep referring to it and it informing where you go and how you interact with people, that makes a big difference.
It puts really nice boundaries around it, because you can always bring your decision-making back to why are we doing it, and that why focus through what the stakeholder and the clients need.
Totally. I like that. Marchik, do you want to build on that? Because I've got a second point if you...
I'm going to approach this topic from a different direction, because of course I agree with everything that you said, and like some secret background, I really like that even if just wants to start with data and we have to establish some rules and things like that, always when we are talking about topics like that, it's about people. And as the name of the podcast,
yes.
So we are focusing on people, and from my perspective, for trust and collaboration, there is this point of feedback that I would like to raise. And if you are giving a good feedback to people that are involved in the project, you're making this trust environment, because first, you are all developing, you are all growing as experts, as a professionals, but also if you are developing, you provide better things. So this level of trust for your skills, for the things that you are providing to the project is growing, and if I am providing good stuff to the project, my will to collaborate with other people because of the value is bigger. So this is like a one giant connected circle.
So true. They say feedback is a gift, and it's not just a gift for the recipient, it can be the gift for the whole team, and to have an environment where you can share feedback in a really safe space. I've seen very highly effective project teams do that really well. It's not common. Most of us are relatively non-confrontational. Actually, I learnt just in the last week that my personality type is a little bit non-confrontational because I'm a people person, so I don't love delivering constructive is a good word, but feedback that's not necessarily super positive, that you actually do a disservice to that person you're working with and to your team. And I think it does help, as Maciek said, build trust if you are genuinely trying to improve the outcome for that person and for the team as well. So that's a good one. Anything else?
I feel like, just building on that, it's a great feedback loop, and it just keeps reinforcing everything. And the more you give feedback, the more people feel like they're providing the value, and the more you kind of build the trust that, when the feedback's coming, it's coming from a place of empathy and wanting to be constructive, and it just allows you to be more empathetic and more direct in the feedback that you're giving and getting, and it can only be helpful for teams, right?
Yeah, absolutely. And you don't need a formal ceremony like a retrospective to do this, although that is also a very, very good space, as well as lesson learned meetings that you might have of what went well and what didn't. But if you can give feedback in real time, or set up an environment as a project manager to enable that, that's also building the culture and building that trust and collaboration in the team. Another thing that I was going to mention is it comes down to one of my personal values, which is integrity, and I know you feel strongly about this as well, Tom, but do what you mean and mean what you say. Action your commitments. Don't let the team down if you say you're not going to, and if you do think you're going to miss something, raise it early, ask for help, rather than letting it all fall into a heap. I think that's another way to build trust. So even if you do have to deliver bad news, raise it early, get everyone across it. Communication sort of all comes down to communication, doesn't it? But do what you say you're going to do, essentially, and hopefully that aligns with the charter. And if everyone's doing that, then highly effective team. That's very collaborative. Any final thoughts? How can we build super high trust, collaborative teams?
I think great communication, great feedback, and all of these values that were mentioned during this podcast. This is like the recipe for a good trust and for a good collaboration.
Nice.
Yeah, I think if you care about the people and achieving the outcome, and everyone's on board with that, then you're going to deliver feedback in a way that's good for the people and is going to help achieve the outcome. So they kind of go together. If you don't care about the people, they're not going to put in the work. And if you don't care about the outcome, you're not going to give the feedback and just let things fall apart. So you kind of need them both.
Absolutely. Final thought from me for today's episode is celebrate the wins, call out when people are doing things that deliver value to either you as the project manager, I say that all the time, thank you, or to the team, or to why are you doing this project. Call it out, celebrate it. Make that the norm, make that the culture, because teams that are engaged and positive and feel like they're all working towards a higher purpose, even if it is, maybe a very straightforward project, they're the teams we all want to be a part of. So that helps that culture. So celebrate the good stuff and do it often. And if you're the PM, you should definitely lead the way there. Thank you everyone for tuning in today. We will see you next time on the People First Projects podcast. There it was.